Alright, so we have the patch details for the Destiny of X update, and it's going to be an 8-hour maintenance window, as you can see right here. So make sure you guys finish up as much as you possibly can in case it runs a little bit longer, because you never know with these major updates. And now with that being said, let's jump right into it. What are we getting? As you can see, we're getting one new character in Polaris, and she's going to be a paywall character. I expected this because Netmarble knows she's a fan favorite, and there's not that much value to the mutant bio selector currently. So they want to add more characters that people really love to it to force people to buy this thing on a monthly basis. However, you will be able to get the character for free if you're playing the game for the next 30 days via the future pass. So make sure you log in, complete the future pass, and get access to the character for free, because after December she's going to be strictly paywall. Moving on, her leadership is very similar to Magneto, but she has a really cool tier 2 passive that only applies to mutant. It's a weaker version of Shuri or Valkyrie's tier 2 passive, so she's definitely going to be a big help to your mutants. Her 4-star passive, however, is actually pretty cool. As you can see, she has skill damage and bonus damage, she has damage reduction, but she also has the ability to absorb energy damage and buff her attack from that. This is actually pretty cool and something I expected to see in the character's kit. First skill is pretty boring, second skill has stun and paralysis, third skill has fracture, paralysis, and damage accumulation up to 1%. That's actually pretty good. We have 8-second duration, 15-second cooldown time, so you can keep that up pretty much all the time. And then on the 5th skill, we have burn, sneer, defense down, healing, invincibility, and damage proc for 5 seconds with a 16-second cooldown. So overall, very good kit, much better than base Magneto. However, it looks like her role long term is going to be as a leader and a support. Moving on, we have Jean Grey's uniform. She's staying as a universal character. She's a super villain now, and keep in mind that her uniform is going to be very pricey. So even on sale, it's going to be 1,500 crystals, very much the same as her previous uniforms and in line with Thanos. Moving on, we have Jean Grey's uniform bonus, 40% increase to fire damage, which is being changed from 20% all attack that she had on her previous uniform. She has immunity to guard break built in, and she decreases additional pierce damage by 60%. So big buff here to Jean Grey. Now in the update video, they indicated that Jean Grey's tier 3 skill is being changed, but the effects that are currently here for the most part remain the same as her previous uniform. So it might just be the fact that this thing can now be cancelled either immediately or partway through, or there's just more damage and more hits added to the skill overall. But for the most part, the effects are very similar. I think they just increase the amount of fire damage that you get out of it, and maybe the animation has been changed slightly. Moving on, they've changed the name of the 4-star passive from Phoenix Force to Resurrection, but the effect itself has remained the same. The tier 2 passive, however, they increased the amount of resistance from 50% to 60% and increase the damage reduction from 30% to 40%. So Jean Grey is definitely going to be really tanky when you're fighting her with elemental characters, so be very careful. Moving on, the first skill has burn, stun, and sneer. Second skill has time freeze, burn, incapacitation, paralysis, immunity for 3 seconds. And the third skill, which is Jean Grey's best skill for PvP, is going to remain pretty much exactly the same. So she's going to pretty much heal up to full health anytime she pops this thing. So this tells me right here that Jean Grey is staying as a PvP character. If you guys for some reason thought she was going to be a PvE powerhouse, the damage accumulation here is her just healing like crazy, and it has nothing to do with increasing her damage output. However, as we know, when a character gets access to level 80, they usually do pretty decent in World Boss Legend, so we'll have to wait and see how Jean Grey performs once we unlock level 80 and tier 4 with her. Fourth skill has burn, silence, and paralysis. Fifth skill has stun, penetration, invincibility, and all attack buff with critical rate and a little bit of defense sprinkled in. Moving on, we have Cyclops. I'm very curious to see how he's gonna play out, because he's pretty much just been a leadership, and a support. So for his uniform bonus, he's getting 20% critical damage and 10% chain hit, so they're definitely trying to make him a DPS. His tier 3 skill seems to be getting a bit of a change here, but the majority of the buffs look exactly the same, even the duration on the buffs. So we'll have to wait and see if it's just like a damage buff. Moving on, we have his leadership. They bumped it up from 35% to 45%. I figured they would have gone 50% on the all attack and 35% on the defense, so it seems I was off by 5% for the leadership for both offense and defense. Support passive, I thought they were going to bring that up to 50% from 30%, but they actually brought it up to 40%, so I was definitely off by a little bit. However, at the end of the day, I need to see Cyclops do good damage as a standalone character for this uniform to be worth it outside of the leadership / support passive. Moving on, his tier 2 passive includes super armor and basic defense. He did not have this before, so this is going to make him a little bit tankier. And then his skill damage went up by 13% and his bonus damage went up by 5%. His first skill now has fracture. His second skill has stun and shock. Shock could definitely be useful for ABL canceling. His third skill now has damage accumulation, 8-second duration, 7-second cooldown, so you can keep this up pretty much all the time, which is really dope. We have bleed, decrease recovery rate by 50%. This is a PvP ability, so I'm shocked to see this in Cyclops' kit, especially since he doesn't have iframe ignore or any kind of PvP abilities. Next up, we have Ties of Fate, which allows him to recover 25% of his max HP. We have 5 seconds of invincibility, 40% attack and defense with 30% critical rate. I'm curious to see how Cyclops is going to play out with the damage accumulation now in his kit for the very first time. Alright, so for Beast, he's now going to buff all your allies HP by 40% and give them 25% ignore dodge. This is pretty big. That could be useful for PvE and PvP, depending on if you're really willing to put Beast on your team. In addition to that, his leadership went up by 5% physical attack. His 4-star passive now decreases chain hit damage when he's attacked by 15%, decreases damage received from reflect by 50%, gives him super armor and all basic defense by 40%. His tier 2 passive now increases skill damage and bonus damage by 40% and 30% respectively. The only thing I don't really like about Beast is the fact that his 4-star passive doesn't apply to everyone. I think if they want to make him a better overall support character, they should have made not only his uniform effect apply to everyone, but also his 4-star passive apply to everyone. I think that would have made him someone that people could consider for PvP in timeline battle. Anyways, moving on. The first skill is pretty boring. Second skill has paralysis. Third skill has stun and damage accumulation. Fourth skill has a recovery. Oh, that's 40%. That's nice. This is very, very rare. Okay. And then the fifth skill decreases recovery rate, 3 seconds of fear, 8 seconds of invincibility, and a 70% attack proc. This is a 20-second cooldown though. This is very, very long. I don't like it. Yikes. Okay. Moving on, we have Angel, 30% dodge and 50% recovery rate. I know this is not what they thought was gonna make Angel the perfect PvP support. I'm dead, bro. Come on, y'all gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better. This is you. Anyways, it's something, but like it's not enough. Like I don't think most people care about recovery rate like that. Alright, so Angel's 4-star passive now gives him super armor and all basic defense. The tier 2 passive is critical rate, guaranteed dodge, skill damage and bonus damage. First skill is stun, second skill has fracture, third skill has snare and damage accumulation. Fourth skill has recovery rate and invincibility with a 100% damage proc. Fifth skill has another heal, 35%. Okay, so Angel might actually be pretty decent. Here's the thing. In the patch notes, they implied that Angel was a PvP character. PvP for where? Without iframe ignore? Are these guys mad? You know, one thing I just realized, even Jean Grey. Oh no, Jean Grey has iframe ignore. Okay. For some reason, I glanced over the iframe ignore on her too there. I was gonna say, even Jean Grey doesn't have it, but Jean Grey has iframe ignore. And that iframe ignores on her too. So that's every 4 seconds. Okay, yeah, she might just be like one tapping people. We'll see. All right, so Polaris, 80% penetration, 8 seconds of invincibility. Tier 3 looks pretty good. Okay, so Jean Grey is going to be able to reflect 100% of the damage received up to 45% of her attack for 7 seconds whenever she pops her tier 4, and then she's going to be able to accumulate 10% of the pure damage when attacking, up to 1.8% of all basic attacks. Okay, so for 7 seconds, Jean Grey's damage is gonna be through the roof, and she's going to just reflect a bunch of damage back in your face. Good luck, man. That is gonna be toxic. Oh god. Okay, so pretty basic transcended skill for Angel, Bishop, and Beast. And then we have the new World Boss Legend for Jean Grey. Looks pretty typical. We're going to get access to a mighty CTP of authority. If you clear stage 10 for Jean Grey, you're going to get Chaos Bringer, the special icon for her. So starting with this update, Conqueror's effect is now going to be a thing where you do extra damage to these specific world boss stages, starting off with Ultimate Thanos and all of the world boss legends. Obviously, with Ultimate Thanos being the hardest of the ultimates, and then all of the World Boss Legend stages just natively being very, very difficult. And they're going to be increasing the Conqueror levels from 100 to 200, and you can see right here how the damage is going to be applied. All right, so next up we have this 2022 event token archive reward, which is going to give you access to a special icon for Luna Snow. So any of you guys who are simping hard for Luna Snow, you get an even cooler icon for 2022. Get it? Cooler icon. Anyways, for 2022 for free for simply logging in and doing all of the token events. Polaris is going to be doing 20% more damage to people with 50% HP or lower. Jean Grey is going to be doing 20% more damage to heroes and villains, so similar to Scarlet Witch and Gore. So Cyclops is going to be doing 20% more damage to boss type. I kind of figured they would have given Cyclops something similar to what they gave to Valkyrie, since he's always traditionally a support. But maybe since with this newest uniform they're trying to turn him into a DPS, maybe this is the direction they're going to go long term with him. The artifact for Beast looks very similar to what they gave to Gilgamesh, only for Gilgamesh it activates at 40% and it recovers 80% of his HP. For Beast it's 50 and 70, and then increasing his max HP by 50%. So this is actually pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Angel has the same one as Black Widow and Spider-Man, and then Bishop has 20% ignore dodge and 25% all attack. Pretty generic. Anyways, moving on. As you can see right here, Polaris is in the future past, so you get 10 bios for her. There's also going to be a special icon for her and another icon for Cyclops. I really do like the one for Polaris, I'm not gonna lie. Cyclops looks pretty cool too. Jean Grey, it looks pretty badass. Okay, so they're updating the shop to make it so you can purchase multiple things at the same time and you don't have to keep clicking. There's gonna be a new uniform collection, and there's gonna be a couple game fixes. I know some of you guys are probably wondering, where's the bug fix report for Hulk? In their eyes, Hulk is working as intended, so there is not going to be a bug fix for Hulk. Okay, he's working as intended, as they intend. So even though he seems like he's bugged to you, it's not the case for them. Anyways, ladies and gents, we're gonna wrap it up here. Leave me your thoughts in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one.